Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Legends of Takaful, a podcast series proudly put together by actuarial partners celebrating 40 years of Takaful in Malaysia. So, who is a legend? It's easy to look back and see who is a legend, as hindsight is 2020. But what about the current leaders in Takaful? Who will be the legends of tomorrow? In this series, we'll sit down and have a conversation with pioneers and founders of Takaful in Malaysia. People who truly shaped the industry, going beyond the numbers and finding out what really inspired them, their challenges and struggles, as well as their insights. We truly hope that this will both help drive Takaful forward for the next 40 years, as well as assist countries in just starting out with Takaful. In the first 10 years of Takaful, there was only one operator, Syarikat Takaful Malaysia, or STM. Anyone entering the STM office during those days knew things were done differently. The first time I went to a meeting with the CEO there, Dato' Fazli, I even remember having to take my shoes off at the entrance of the floor. They had a monopoly at that time, and they focused on establishing a presence, rather than having the cheapest rates and fierce competition. Back then, the loss ratios for motor business were noticeably better than conventional insurance, which was surprising due to the small size of STM, and the need to be large and strong enough to control the workshops. STM used Bank Islam branches as the main distribution source. The second entrant was Takaful Nasional, or TN, the Takaful operations of the national insurer MNI. TN is now Etiqa and focused on agency force distribution during those days. Those days we had heavy debates on whether it was acceptable to have agents selling Takaful, promoting actually, as how the model would work, as until that point we used a mudharabah model, with the operator paying most expenses out of surplus sharing, which occurs at the end of the year. Several years later, Maybank obtained a Takaful license, and TN eventually combined with Mayban Takaful to give rise to Etiqa, which had a full lineup of agency and bancassurance distribution channels for Takaful, as well as conventional insurance. During the same time, the first re-Takaful operator in Malaysia started, Ariel. So whereas the first operator relied on bank branches, and the second operator relied on its existing agency force infrastructure, Takaful Ikhlas, starting 10 years after TN, had to start from scratch. This led the CEO, Dato' Said Mohib, to drive a number of innovative solutions, including bringing the Wakala model over from the Middle East. This represents roughly the halfway point so far of the Takaful journey in Malaysia. Several years later, the era of the multinationals in Takaful began, with a range of global insurers and reinsurers recognizing the potential of this market. Prudential in particular brought synergy to its products, creating Takaful equivalents of its conventional insurance products, especially unit-linked plans. This was also the time that Bank Negara really strengthened the regulatory focus on Takaful through JPIT. Regulations were held fairly consistent between Takaful and conventional insurance, with the goal of creating a level playing field. Today, Takaful is at a crossroads in Malaysia. Although we've come a long way, we still have a long way to go to rival conventional insurance in Malaysia. Will Takaful focus on consistency with conventional insurance? Or will there be increasing innovation in the models used as well as market segments focused on? Will we be able to use Takaful to increase insurance penetration in Malaysia, especially underserved markets? Insurance in any form is about managing risks and building trust. Takaful can truly be key in many market segments in building this trust and forming the foundation of a population that understands its risks and how to manage them. This is the foundation of true financial literacy, which must be a goal for the next 40 years. Actuarial Partners has been involved since the beginning of Takaful in Malaysia and has been involved in some way with all the Takaful operators here. We truly hope that this podcast series is useful and the next 40 years of Takaful development is equally exciting. Malaysia boleh.
Assalamualaikum and welcome to the third episode of the series Legends of Takaful. The series aims to celebrate the individuals who have contributed to the development of Takaful in Malaysia. 2024, as you know, marks the 40th anniversary of the establishment of the first Takaful operator in Malaysia. Syarikat Takaful Malaysia was incorporated on the 29th of November 1984. Today we welcome Mohd Tarmidzi Ahmad Nordin. He was the CEO of Mayban Takaful, the third Takaful operator established in Malaysia. Tarmidzi, welcome. And firstly, thank you for making time to join me in this podcast.
Thank you, Zainal, for inviting me. I'm honored to be invited as a legend. Wow.
Very modest. Tarmidzi, can you start by summarizing your journey to Takaful? Where did you graduate from and in what year? When and how did you join the Takaful industry?
Okay, I graduated from Institute Technology Mara, now UITM. That was in 1978. I did a course called Chartered Insurance Institute UK. Actually, ITM or UITM now is one of the few institutions in the world that provides the Chartered Insurance UK course full-time. So I did it full-time in ITM. ITM provided the exams, so the tuition, but the award of the associateship and the examination was done by CII. So that was but I finished most of the subject in 2 years. So the final year, I only had 2 more subjects to go. So I decided, still a student, I applied for a job because it was getting a bit difficult to do full-time in theory. I need a bit of practical application. So I got a job at Lowndes Lambert in 77 while doing my final subject.
As a broker, isn't it?
As a broker, yeah. So it was a good choice because Lowndes Lambert was a top broker and I was thrown in the deep end right from the beginning. Because my boss, he handled a big conglomerate as their client, and whatever insurances they had, he manages it. So I assisted him. So I was exposed right from the beginning with all the sophisticated insurance and all that. So then the following year, I finished my associateship exams, completed it, and I graduated in 78. But I could not carry the associate title yet because you need to have a few years working experience. So 1980, I got my associateship title, so I could carry the ACII title after my name.
At that point in time, there were not many ACII, I don't think.
Not many.
Yeah.
In fact, I qualified together with my boss who was already working for 20 years. So, but I was still young and I learned it in theory, you know.
Yes.
So I had a lot of catching up to do. But being in a broker, I really was exposed.
That was as an internship or as a full-time job in terms of...
It was a full-time job because, you see, ITM only provided the tuition. So they had...
That was part-time, is a tuition.
That was almost every day we had lectures, but as you progress, you had... there were few students. Like, for example, final year, there were only 2 students. So we could talk to the lecturers and say, look, can we do it after 5 or can we do it at 9?
All right.
So, so I went to work and on days that I have lectures, I'll tell my boss I have to go for my class and all that. So I had the best of both worlds, because many times my seniors, when they get a job, they go and work and they forget to study,
Yes.
So you have to be a bit more disciplined. So anyway, it was a good job. And then after 3 years, I wanted new challenge. So in 1980, I applied for a job as a branch manager in Kota Kinabalu, General Insurance Company.
What is it called?
Progressive Insurance.
Right.
Progressive Insurance. And this, for viewers, this is like 1,000 kilometers away.
From home.
From home. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I went there and being a city boy, and it was a managerial job. So I had to learn again.
Were you single then or you were married?
I was
still single.
Yeah, but I think the biggest lesson for me was how to deal with people. you know, at the local level, to be humble, to talk to the locals, you know, in a very polite way and all that, because they had their own culture. So
I think for the benefit of the viewers, basically Kota Kinabalu is in Sabah, which is in East Malaysia, and our guest here is from Kedah, which is in the Peninsula Malaysia. So Kota Kinabalu is indeed quite far away from your hometown.
Yeah. Well, although I was born in Kedah, but I actually grew up in KL.
Oh, right.
I was really a city boy. You know, you thought you know everything, and then you go to... So you learn, I learned. So in Kota Kinabalu, as a branch manager, I had to deal... Because when I was a broker, I dealt with very conglomerates. They were professionals. But when I went to Sabah, I had to deal with agents, you know, loss adjusters. I had to deal with the walk-in customers and all that. So it was totally new to me. And then I had to manage my staff, you know, and it was different. Like, for example, at 5 o'clock, they want to go home. And I'll tell them, look, can you stay on till 7? They'll say, oh, I got to go back, no transport. So one day, I put my foot down. I said, look, I will send you home. I said, how far away is your house? 5 kilometers. Oh, no problem. It was so dark, no street lamps, you know.
That's Kota Kinabalu in 1980s.
1980s, you know. I still remember it was a real kampong. After that, they want to go back at 5 and let them go. No more, you know, because the sun sets very early also in Kota Kinabalu. So anyway, I learned my lesson. So, you know, then after 3 years there, I felt that I was already out of touch with the mainstream market. So I applied for another job in KL. I came back to KL in 1983 after 3 years in Sabah. You know, I joined Journey Insurance. Journey Insurance is a general insurance company owned by the richest man in Malaysia
at that time.
Mr. Robert Kwok. So by that time, I was very comfortable. You know, it was a well-paid job, doing in-house business. So they were insuring the assets of the Kwok Group all over the world. So I was very comfortable. Then I heard about the government initiative to start a Takaful company.
Yeah,
they were working on it. So I had to find out, because my late father, when I joined insurance, he was not very happy, you know. So he said, when you have a chance, if you can join Islamic insurance, it's better. I never heard of Islamic insurance then. So anyway, when I heard about it, I had to go and find out. I was only by then 30 years old, married, just started a family, you know. So I thought it's about time I be a little bit more Islamic, you know. So I thought the Takaful company would give me a good environment to change, you know. So I wanted to be part of this Islamic cause. So then I lobbied quite hard to join, because they were, I didn't know the Dr. Fazli then. So, but I heard they had a group doing some manuals. So I volunteered to help. I said, look, I can help to write the manuals as well. So, and all that. So, and then in the end, I put my hat in the ring and said, I would like to join this company. So, alhamdulillah, in 1985, early, I was employed by them. I was the 5th person to be employed.
Fifth employee.
Yeah, employment number 5.
That's quite something.
Yeah,
I think you also mentioned to me that you took a significant pay cut to take, which shows your commitment, if you like, you know, to the cause.
Alhamdulillah, you know. So you had to take a bit of haircut. It was almost like a shift.
But if Dr. Fazli is listening to this now, you are a good committed employee at that point of time.
I was not the only one. In fact, I think the group of 30 pioneer staff, all were very committed. You know, all were very committed. They were, the only problem is that we were in the high spirit, but we didn't have the knowledge.
Okay.
You know?
We go to my next question. You know, can you tell us about your first impression of the company? I think basically, you know, you mentioned that you're the 5th employee. You know, the people that joined you are very committed. You know, it was a startup.
It was a startup.
The first Takaful operator in Malaysia. and had therefore to do everything from scratch.
Yes.
So you mentioned manuals just now. Perhaps you
Yes.
can elaborate.
Again, I was thrown to deep end. You know, I by then I knew insurance a little bit. You know, but what is this takaful? You know,
Yeah.
so what is the first time I'm hearing mudharabah, tabaru? So it's very overwhelming. You know, to know all this, but we soldiered on. You know, we soldiered on, and I was employed as the head of the General Takaful division. You know, and my job was to operationalize this concept.
Mm.
You know, so far they have all been talking theory. You know, and I got to operationalize it. How do we do this? You know, so I asked a lot of questions. You know, and the Sharia scholars. You know, so basically, the thing that I learned is that this is muamalat, is Sharia, but it's for business, worldly affairs, and the maxim is simple: whatever that is not forbidden is permissible. So okay, I said that's a good start. Okay, so that means we can use all the insurance policies, right? We can use all the manuals and all that. As long as whenever I have some doubt, I will say, is this forbidden? Is that forbidden? I found out that mostly it's acceptable. So the only thing is now how to operationalize it within the mudharabah model, you know. So I had to really understand what is the mudharabah all about and all that lah.
So basically, you quickly sort of understood that what should be, if you like, you know, the success drivers of the takaful operation, and then you had to understand how this mudharabah model actually worked. That was basically a challenge to you, because you come from an insurance background, and you know that, you know, in insurance, basically, you know, you collect the premium and you use the premium to pay expenses, to pay claims, and everything is taken from the same premium. Now you have the mudharabah model whereby you get nothing. All the money goes into the takaful fund.
Yeah.
How are you going to finance your business?
Yeah, we can talk about that afterwards. But I think when Takaful Malaysia entered the market, this was like I remember it was the 2nd August 1985. You know, it was launched officially by the Prime Minister, Dr. Mohd. So that's when it started. But I think it is good for the viewers to understand the situation of the market at that time.
Yes, of course, yeah.
You know, this was before Bank Negara. The Bank Negara came in 88. You know, this was 85, 3 years before that. Yeah. And the market was already, how do I describe it? Probably like the Wild Wild West.
Cowboy town.
And Bank Negara is the new sheriff in town, you know. Okay, so it also almost anything goes. Yes, we had the tariff, fire tariff, motor tariff.
Yes.
People followed it because that's how to rate. But the expenses, the commissions, nobody followed the tariff. You know, for example, motor commissions officially 10%. Yeah, I heard sometimes people get up to 60%. You know, so it was things like that. So
everything goes.
Yeah, and at that time, I think the one that really shook the market is that the mercantile goes lah. Okay, so for those who don't know, mercantile is at one time became within a very short time became the biggest general insurance company in Malaysia within a short time, with a 30% market share. So big, it was doing 90% motor, you know, and by 1994 it was wound up already, collapsed already. So there were already rumors about financial problems when Takaful Malaysia came to the picture, you know, and Bank Negara was so it was very challenging in the sense that the market was fragmented. Okay, There's mercantile, of course. The market was right now too many insurers. I think about 60, almost 60.
60.
60.
Insurance company.
Insurance company chasing so few premium. So there were two sets of insurers, if I can describe the market roughly. We have the privileged ones, those with the international boys, the pop group. So they were the privileged. They could be accommodative about motor. They can be selective. Yeah, they can be selective. They just do their in-house business, and motor was we're not going to do except for those in-house. Okay, so these were very few. Out of 60 companies, maybe 10, 12. The balance fought tooth and nail for the motor business. Motor was the compulsory, so they fought. So we had a situation where some motor companies did 90%, 80% of motor only, and because they were lowly capitalized, they didn't have much connection, they fought for business. So they appointed agents to distribute the business. Not only agents, and some of you young people might not even know, chief agents, underwriting agents. What's the difference? Chief agents can issue policies. So they didn't have branches, so they appointed chief agents all over the country who can issue policies for them.
On behalf of the insurance company.
On behalf of it, like giving them the underwriting.
Underwriting pen.
Yeah. On top of that, there are also underwriting agents. What's the difference? Underwriting agent can't even pay claims. That means
they keep the premiums then, if that's the case. They don't pass the premiums to the insurance company.
Oh my goodness. Today, it's so well regulated, I think we had to pay the price. Because this was going on.
Yeah.
You can give, for example, because you're as a chief agent, you can issue policy. Okay. You take your commission, which is more than the tariff, right? You give NCB as you like.
No claims to bonus.
Yeah. No claim discount. But the customer pays in full. So the agents were richer than the insurance company. Okay, so a lot and the public didn't have good image of insurance industry. So this was Takaful. We came in, they had a poor view of the general insurance company because unfair claims practices. They don't pay the workshops until 6 months later. The workshops, when they finally pay, they discount further. Let's say your bill is like 50,000, you pay 6 months later, you say, okay, I will pay you 35. Take it or leave it, that sort of thing. So that's to the workshop. To the client, also they treated unfairly. They did what we used to call as cash flow underwriting. Using today's premium to pay yesterday's claim. So of course, they would pay, as I said, and you can deal with agents who are not registered. Anybody can come to the branch, okay? I have here 5,000 worth of business. I'm actually working in that company insurance. Can I be your agent? On the spot. I feel it. So there was a lot of room for corruption. Yeah, and then forgery of cover notes. People just issue cover notes and take the money. So this was the situation when Takaful Malaysia came in. So what do we do? How do we position ourselves? We too will do motor. Yeah. We too will do fire. So what do we do? So the best was to position yourself. How do we position ourselves? Okay, Islamic company, right? So we position ourselves as the honest insurance company.
Honest.
For honest customers.
Okay.
Okay, if you're honest, come to us, and we are honest. All right. So the naughty boys don't come here. So how do we do this? All right. So there's the motor tariff. Okay, motor tariff, and then there's a fire tariff. Motor tariff, we felt that it was not adequate, the premium. So there was, especially the third party premium and all that. So, but there was a loophole. Takaful Malaysia being a new player, we are not subject to the tariff. We are not a Persatuan Insurance Arm, General Insurance member.
Okay. So for the benefit of the viewers, at that point in time, we actually have a motor tariff, but the motor tariff was actually for all members of the General Insurance Association. All general insurance companies have to be a member of the General Insurance Association of Malaysia. Now, Takaful is not a member.
Not a member.
Because it's not a general insurance company. Therefore, you are not bound by the tariff. And the tariff was actually the minimum that you could charge anyway.
Yes.
So, continue.
Okay, so we said, okay, let's be selective. Okay, we'll charge what we feel is the right price above the tariff. We will not go below because it was already low, but we'll charge more. So we had to redo a little bit of tariff. But of course, I'm not an actuary, so just from experience, okay, this car, I think like this and all that. So what happened was that the thing that we found was that the tariff was very simple. Only go when CC, you charge this, So we decided, okay, we can do the same, but let's look at the occupation of the user.
All right, you were the first risk-based rating company.
Okay, but let's simplify, So we said, okay, school teachers, many of whom are Muslims, right?
Right.
So we said, okay, this one will give good rates because they park their car 8 hours in the school anyway. Salesmen, people whose job we're not sure what they really do, will charge more. So that's what it is. So again, we were trying to attract the honest customers, okay, and also Muslims, all right? Because who would pay extra, right?
Yeah.
Because this was early years, so mudharabah sharing was not there yet. Okay, it was still a concept. So we tried a lot. Sometimes we fail, sometimes okay. So that's one. Okay, the pricing for motor. The other one was the workshop. Okay. We look for workshops that was, okay, look, this is business, right? If the other companies, the motor companies pay you 6 months, we would like to pay you in 30 days. But don't cheat us. Okay, it's business. Okay, you want to be paid. Let's do it as a business. They said, yeah, not that we want to cheat the insurance company. If you don't pay me in 6 months, I have to do something. I said, okay, let me see if you're willing to pay us within 30 days. Okay, let's do business. Just serious business. Okay? They were very happy. They were very happy, so much so that they became ambassadors for Takaful. So they keep telling people, hey, ambil Takaful lah. Dia bayar cepat. So, okay, so we had ambassadors which we didn't expect from. So but the panel was very strict. So, so every time people were queuing up to say, I want to be on your panel, we give you a try first. No cheating, okay? Serious business. We'll pay you well. Okay, we'll pay you 30 days. How about that? So, they are business people, so okay. So it worked. I wouldn't say perfectly, but okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah.
I think you were introducing practices which later on I think Bank Negara basically promoted as well.
We experimented. In fact, I think I couldn't find a paper cutting, but when Takaful Malaysia later on wanted to go public listed, RAM gave a very high rating for claims.
RAM being the rating agency of Malaysia.
Agency of Malaysia, yeah. Yeah, very high rating. I can't remember. It was very complimentary. So alhamdulillah. So of course these were early years. So I was then we saw the results later on. So later on I saw because later on we'll talk about the mudharabah model, but it was very challenging. So, but I find that General Takaful contribute a lot of the income to surplus for Syarikat. So happy with that.
I think I do remember those days, and one of the things that was a challenge was the fact that Takaful contributions, we call it contributions, were much higher than the tariffs. All right, and Pomoto, yes, we talk about Pomoto were much higher than this. Sort of, I'm sure, from the perspective of shopping, if you like, would be a deterrent, should be a deterrent to the potential contributors. But Takaful Malaysia was able to overcome that. And, I think there was one Takaful contributor that shared with us that the fact that initially, yes, it was high, but subsequently, and here maybe we can talk about with the mudharabah model, because of the surplus sharing, they found that it was competitive. So initially, the entry level was high because the contribution was high compared to what's in the market. But you also have to remember that at that point of time, Takaful Malaysia was the only Takaful company. There was no choice. If you want something which is Sharia compliant, you have to go to Takaful Malaysia. But it is very, very interesting to learn that it was not just because of the fact that they go to Takaful Malaysia because it was Sharia compliant. You were also promising them as well, a good deal. So maybe you can elaborate now about the model, and perhaps,
Yeah. The way Takaful Malaysia distributed at that time, no agents, So we had our major Takaful, the Takaful counters in the bank, the Islamic bank. So people want to come take Takaful, they either come to our office branch or they go to the bank. They walk in.
This is Bank Islam.
Bank Islam,
which is the shareholder of Takaful Malaysia.
Yes, major shareholder. So all the banks branches were open to us. We had staff there as a counter.
Takaful desk.
Takaful desk, yeah. So people walk in. So that means they really want Takaful, then they will take the trouble to walk in. So I was a little bit worried about anti-selection, So, normally insurance we sell, right? So here, people come in and, so Alhamdulillah, most of them, they really wanted Sharia compliance. So not many, but enough to give us a good pool of honest customer that we were looking for, This was motto. For fire, we followed the tariff exactly because we found that fire, the loss ratio was so low. It was actually, to me, obscenely low, and there was a lot of room for profit, surplus. So I think the one that really gave a lot of surplus, but from Moto, which was challenging, was Ayala. And we didn't have to compete very much. So it caught on after a few years we went started. Anyway.
What was the surplus sharing then at that point in time?
Yeah.
We go to the mudharabah model. The driver is a surplus sharing. Share with us. What is surplus sharing?
So surplus sharing is you collect the premium and you less the reserves, then you left the re-takaful or reinsurance at that time, you left the claims. That's all. The balance, the balance is the surplus. As far as Syarikat Takaful is concerned, that surplus we share. At the beginning, it was 40-60, 40 to the company, 60 to the customer. Okay, so and then after I left, it became 50-50, and later on it became 60 to the company, 40 to.
So basically, the 40% is where Takaful Malaysia actually paid its expenses, and I think there's one reason as well, perhaps not that you couldn't afford even agents because of the fact that there was no, upfront kind of income So you have salaried employees and to sell for you, and also you use the bank branches to sell for you. So the model has some restrictions, as it were.
Yeah, the mudharabah as we knew it then in the beginning was like that. You cannot take management expenses. Okay, the company as a mudarib, you can only take the surplus, the profit, okay, your share, and that will pay your expenses, and the balance is your profit. Yeah. So at first I accepted it as cast in stone. I went back to question Sharia. So but I felt deep down, is this really feasible for business? So so I questioned this as time went on. You work, and what if there's no profit? You work for nothing. So I thought that was very risky for the company. Yeah. Okay. So I questioned it a lot, and so I wondered whether there are
other ways, alternatives at that point in time. Yeah. So you left Takaful Malaysia after 6 years.
I left because I was hungry for knowledge. I was hungry for knowledge. I thought, hey, I put it already in place. Okay, I want to find out, is there a better way to do this than the mudharabah model that I learned? I surely it cannot be cast in stone. Surely there is a better way. Sharia is so, I found that Sharia is so marvelous. It's fantastic. So how come this one? But that's the chosen model. So
I understand.
It seemed to be cast in stone. So I was hungry for knowledge. So I needed to be outside, from outside looking in. I thought if I'm inside, I will be biased. I cannot look beyond. So okay, I said okay. I put it so they can move on without me. I left so that I can go and find out more.
Okay, where do you go from there?
Yeah, of course, I need to have a living.
It was the only Takaful company then at one time, wasn't it?
Exactly. So I said, where do I go? I cannot go back to insurance after all these years, So, but there was a bit opportunity. I joined a loss adjusting firm. Okay, it's not an insurance company, but they do claim services for the insurance company. So I was very lucky. I joined this company, and I did the claim services for Syarikat Takaful. So I managed to still work with my old company. They supported me. They gave me a lot of claims business. So I did that. So I could keep in touch with the industry as well, what's going on and all that. At the same time, I tried to learn as much as possible about Sharia, Mu'amalat and all that. I was there for 3 years as a loss adjuster and all that. Then I thought that maybe I should become a lecturer, become academic, so that I can learn more. So I joined the Malaysian Insurance Institute as a lecturer. So I was teaching both Takaful and insurance and all that. And I became an academic, so it gave me a lot of time to research, to learn and all that. And at the same time, I enrolled to do an MBA in Islamic finance at the International Islamic University. This was 1999. I was the second batch to do Islamic finance. So Alhamdulillah, I had the privilege of learning from the best scholars in Malaysia.
Who were there?
Dr. Daud Bakar, Dr. Azmi Omar, who is now INSIAF President, Dr. Syed Musa Al-Habshi, and many, many more.
Yeah.
So it was a meeting of mine. They learned insurance from me. I learned Sharia from them, Mu'amalat from them. So it opened my mind. Then I found out, mudharabah is not the only way. And the thing that for my final year in MBA, I had to do a thesis. And I did a thesis called A Critical Study of the Role and Implications of Mudharabah in Takaful. Okay. I really wanted to go in and find out. So the question that I was trying to answer then was, is it the only way? Is it compulsory? Can we do it another way? And all that. So I interviewed Sharia scholars. I interviewed the Mufti from KL, the Mufti from Penang. I interviewed them. And what they told me is that, no, it's not compulsory. Right? It's not compulsory. It's just that tabarruk is a donation. So you need something to a commercial contract to remunerate the takaful operator. What you did is the mudharabah actually is means to remunerate the takaful operator. And to remunerate, you can use wakalah, you can use ju'ala. There's one thing that I started, oh, really? So, not really, no. Okay? Why is good? But I said, yeah, but for general, it's year to year. So, I'm not saying that mudharabah is no good. I'm saying that for general insurance, which is a 1-year contract, you don't have time to earn, So maybe we should. So anyway, mudharabah. I look at wakalah in greater detail.
Yeah. Okay, tell us how you go back into the takaful industry, because I know your journey basically.
Yeah.
Insurance, broking, insurance, takaful, and then loss adjusting, and then academician.
Yes.
So how do you get back into takaful?
Yeah. All the way, I've always been thrown into the deep end out of my comfort zone. I always learn very, very fast. So then I became comfortable again as a lecturer. You read books, you teach. 5 o'clock, you finish class. So I was very comfortable. Then one day, in 2001, the CEO of Mayban Fortis is actually the insurance arm of the Mayban Group. It was a joint venture between Mayban 70% and Fortis International 30%. So they formed this joint venture to do the insurance business for the Mayban Group. So Mayban already had 2 subsidiaries, Mayban Life, Mayban General, both conventional. And they wanted to complete the whole picture, to give the complete service to the customer. They wanted to have a takaful license. So Alhamdulillah, they were negotiating with Bank Negara, and Bank Negara gave them some terms and all that. They met all the terms. So they were quite confident to get a license for takaful. So the CEO then, friend of mine, he called me up. He said, "Look, let me see what you're doing. Hey, come back to the industry." I said, "Why should I come back? I'm very happy as an academician." He said, "Look, we want to start this takaful company, and it'll be very exciting again, I thought about it. I said, okay. I said, but I'm coming for 3 years only. Then I want to go back to teaching, which I love. Okay. I said, okay. 3 years, no problem. You help us start. So at that time, there were already 2 takaful operators. Syarikat Takaful Malaysia, which already, I think, more than 10 years, then Takaful Nasional. So Mayban Takaful became the 3rd takaful company. Okay. And I agreed to join, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, I did say that Mayban Takaful was a subsidiary of Maybank, and then the biggest bank in Malaysia with the most number of branches around the country. Although Mayban Takaful was also a startup, what were the differences in this in Takaful Malaysia in 1985? In particular, tell us about the Takaful operating model. You mentioned just now that you're looking for a new takaful model. You knew the limitations of mudharabah. So tell us about the takaful operating model that the company adopted. What did you not adopt? Why did you not adopt the same operating model practiced by Takaful Malaysia and Takaful Nasional?
Okay. Yeah. I'll answer the second part first. Why did you not adopt? Yeah. The both Takaful Malaysia and Takaful Nasional were practicing mudharabah model. I found out through my research that actually the mudharabah model that they were operating was not really mudharabah. It is actually modified mudharabah. Okay? It was modified mudharabah. I think you alluded to this in podcast number 1. Mudharabah shares profit, but takaful shares surplus. Okay, so when you don't share profit, you share surplus. It is not really mudharabah, because the definition of mudharabah is the sharing of profit. Okay, but when you share surplus, as an actuary, is different. So, although we call it mudharabah, but technically it is not mudharabah. So, but it's not. It's again Sharia. It's okay. It's just that don't call it mudharabah. Okay, so that's it. So, and this modified mudharabah practiced by Takaful Malaysia and Takaful Nasional before Mayban Takaful came into the picture was modified mudharabah, and they, even within them, there were two versions of this modified mudharabah.
You mean Takaful Malaysia and Takaful Nasional had different versions of mudharabah?
Yes. Okay. Remember, Takaful Malaysia was the first Takaful. They practiced mudharabah and they shared surplus. Okay. The difference is that they calculated the surplus almost the same way, except that Takaful Malaysia doesn't deduct the management expenses from the fund. Doesn't deduct. They take the surplus and then that pays for it. Takaful Nasional deduct management expenses right away. Although this was also so-called mudharabah. Okay, the argument then was that why not? This is not really mudharabah. This is modified mudharabah. Okay, so they deducted expenses. So this caused a bit of controversy between Takaful Malaysia and Takaful Nasional when Takaful Nasional came into the picture 10 years later. Okay, because by doing that, they were able to have agents.
Okay.
Okay, so it really, people say, hey, how come I thought Takaful cannot use agent? No, Takaful Malaysia did not use agent because their understanding of mudharabah, which is true, for the real mudharabah, you don't deduct answer. But Takaful Nasional took a very practical, they said, look, it's called mudharabah, it's not really mudharabah, but so we're going to deduct expenses. So they use agents. So I was thinking this, actually, from a Sharia perspective, this is not a big issue, not a big issue. So I have already done my studies, and I'm going to ignore both. Ignore both, and we came up with the wakalah model. Okay, just for the record, the wakalah model that was proposed to us actually came from Encik Zainal here. He showed us a wakalah model, which I thought makes a lot of sense, and we adopted it. Yeah. Okay.
So that was basically the background, if you like.
Yeah.
You had a challenge, because of the fact that the initial mudharabah model by Takaful Malaysia had no provision for deducting upfront costs, because agents are upfront costs. You need to pay the agents upfront whenever you sell a product. The modified mudharabah by Takaful Nasional allowed the deduction of initial costs from the contribution itself. That means it's from the Tabarruk fund, which again did not sound quite right to you, given your understanding of mudharabah. So in Mayban Takaful, you are now faced with a situation whereby which model makes sense on a commercial basis, given the distribution channels that you're using, where you have to pay commissions to the bank, under Bank Takaful model.
Yeah. Okay. I was faced with a different situation.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Maybank. Okay. At that time, this Maybank was a conventional bank. It had an Islamic window.
Yeah.
Right. This was 2001. Okay. So the Maybank Islamic came a little bit later. So, but they still had an Islamic portfolio, Islamic windows. So they wanted to complete the picture. And this was not just Maybank, a conventional bank. It was a joint venture with Fortis.
Yeah.
A foreign
shareholder.
Shareholder.
The first foreign shareholder of a Takaful company.
Foreign shareholder.
In the world.
In the world, probably.
Probably.
Yeah? And because they were shareholders, they had two positions on the board. I had two expatriates, Europeans. One Dutch, one Belgian. He was not Dutch, he was Englishman on the board. So again, the first non-Muslim, as far as Malaysia is concerned, be on the board.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with a model that makes more business sense, and your proposal for wakalah sounds okay. At least there's a wakalah fee up front. If I manage the cost well, it can make business sense. So okay. So we studied that and we thought, okay, I presented it to this board and they said, okay, all right. So there's also a surplus sharing. So there were two parts.
Two components.
Two components. One is the wakalah fee upfront, okay, and we'll take because I'm talking about general first. So it should cover at least the commissions to the agents, and on top of that, a certain percentage. So we took something like, for management expenses, we'll take 15%, and on top of that, the commission. So let's say, for example, motor, it'll be 15 plus 10. The motor is commission 10. Fire commission is 15. So 15 plus 15, 30, and so on and so on. So it was like that. That was part one, the wakalah fee. And you can take upfront from the contribution, gross contribution. And then there was also the surplus sharing. This is no more mudharabah. So we use ju'alah. So it's like a performance fee for good performance. So we put it in the akad, the contract. Okay, if you perform well by showing a surplus and all that, you can have a share. Okay? So at that time, the board director said, why do we share? In Mayban General, we don't share. We take all of it. Oh, why do we share? I say, people expect, it's a customer's expectation. So I had a little bit of help from banking. I said, you must have a little bit of, it's not a Sharia requirement, but so we negotiated. So I said, okay, we do 80-20. So that was the original model. Take up wakalah fee upfront, and then the sharing was 80 to the company and 20 to I was trying to play down the surplus sharing. In fact, we even had a product where the 20% surplus sharing to give to the poor for charity. We promote it as this is a good deeds product. Okay, you see, people say, aren't you scared to not give surplus sharing? The customer, it doesn't look much because surplus sharing is so small. Unless you are a conglomerate, Takaful Malaysia, going back years ago, some customers had a check for RM2.40. With nothing, and this guy is from Kuala Krai. He had to go all the way to Kota Kinabalu to cash the check for RM2.40.
Those days they were not electronic banking, so you have physical checks.
The one that really was excited about it were the corporate clients because their premium is 100,000 and they get back 35,000.
Yeah, probably was the fire sort of work business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the motor business.
Yeah.
The corporate client.
The customers. So what happens that for Mayban 40s, so we had, by the time Mayban Takaful came to the picture, we had Mayban General, Mayban Life, and Mayban Takaful. So our strategy was that we had to keep the cost very low. So again, first, we did a lot of shared services. So Mayban Life did the underwriting for Mayban Takaful for family Takaful. Mayban General did the underwriting, all that. So the policy issuance, the system, we shared as much as Syariah will allow us to share to keep the cost low. So, of course, bancassurance gave us access to the Mayban customers. They had like 4 million customers then already, 400 branches. So, okay, if just that, Maybank wanted, Maybank Fortis wanted to serve as many clients as possible to meet their needs. So there were Muslim customers there who wanted Sharia compliance. So that's also, apart from that, they said, look, can you make sure that we don't compete with each other, don't cannibalize each other? So this was the challenge, which was different then. It had to be feasible commercially and not to cannibalize one another. So
here you're talking about, conventional insurance and Takaful.
Yes.
So you introduced Takaful. There was already Maybank General, for example.
Yes.
Now you got Maybank Takaful General, and you want to avoid cannibalizing the business from Maybank General.
Yeah.
Especially, in Maybank Takaful, you got surplus sharing. You don't have that in Maybank General.
Yeah.
That probably was quite a challenge, wasn't it?
It was a challenge. That's why we had to keep it to 80-20. So the 20, instead of 50-50,
Make it small.
Make it as small as possible so the customer don't bother. Don't really bother. So there was a lot. The challenge was not so much with the customers. Because customers, they just say, how much do I have to pay? Right? For example, they come in, remember this is bank insurance, so the selling was done by the banks.
There's an important point actually, because I think you mentioned in one of our discussion that, effectively from the customer's perspective, they don't see the insurance or Takaful company. This was the bank card model that I think Fortis Syarikat helped to actually introduce in Maybank Takaful and also Maybank as well, insurance companies. Maybe a bit more on that one. I mean, what did the policy say in terms of who was actually giving that policy? Be like,
okay. There are many. The bancassurance model is a wide spectrum. The lowest version of bancassurance is like you appoint the bank as your agent on your panel, and it's already bancassurance. The top end that we practice with Mayban Fortis, and we were taught there is the bancassurance distributor manufacturer integrated model, where the insurance company and the Takaful company, we are manufacturer of the product. The bank does the distribution. Okay? The strategy is for the customer, they don't see the Takaful product or the insurance product as an insurance product or Takaful product. They see it as a bank product. That was our strategy. We minimize. So the only thing you see in the brochure will say, will be a very bank look and feel brochure. Of course, I explained the features of the Takaful product, insurance product. The only thing you see about Mayban Takaful is underwritten by Mayban Takaful.
Small letters right at the bottom.
Yeah. So it had to look and feel as a bank product. Sold at the banking moment, we call it. For example, let's say a simple PA, personal accident, Takaful. Okay? Insurance company will sell, the agent will sell an annual policy, let's say for 100,000, it costs 36 ringgit a year. We will sell it, the same product, probably we'll tweak it a little bit, put bells and whistles as a bank product. Okay? But the payment is like, 5 ringgit a month. Okay? 5 ringgit a month. And deduct from your account. So the bank will say, when you come and do your credit card, your loan card, would you like this? It's a very good coverage and all that, 5 ringgit per month. So it's always look and feel as a bank product. The reason we do this is because insurance and Takaful, you have to sell. Okay, very few people get up in the morning and say, I feel like buying Takaful. unless there's an anti-selection somewhere, all right? So, but people go to the bank. They want credit card. They want loan. They want their savings account. They want to do investment. They go to the bank. They walk in there. They go. So we bundle our products together with the bank's products. So they feel this part. Take, for example, let's say housing loan.
Mortgages.
Okay? So we did that is so well that the customer say, okay, 20-year loan for your house, 500,000. It is, let's say, for example, 2,000 per month.
This is the loan repayment. Installment.
Installment for 20 years. If you put in the mortgage, 2,050 ringgit.
If you put in the protection, cover, the extra 50 ringgit.
The customer said, 50 ringgit per month. What is it for? If you die, settle the loan. Right, it's okay, 50 ringgit. So but you have to design the processes such a way that the customer is seamless.
Seamless.
Seamless. So bank assurance, you cannot do like this. You cannot say, okay, the same product you give to your agents, you give to the bank. That will cause conflict. Same price and same processes. The bank will tell us, okay, we want this product. It's very good, but no underwriting. No underwriting. Yeah, we don't want underwriting. It cannot lah, bank. How not? Okay. I talked to the actuary. Actuary said, okay, can do with underwriting, but lower sum cover. So we have free cover limit and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
The bank will push. So the customer said, otherwise, and then when they go to the bank, so it doesn't feel like, if I go to the insurance company, I have to fill out a form and all that. No. The bank has all the information. The bank will not allow us another form. No. It has to be...
Okay, well, you say that the bank already got the personal information of the customer. So there's no need to fill out any forms, just sign here.
So this is what we suddenly, this is bank insurance. It's not just tie up with the insurance bank and that's it. No. The bank will tell you, we want this product. Our customers want this product. Okay? We want these processes. We are going to launch a campaign on this and we need this. It has to be value for money. So we do the monthly charges and all that. Instead of the customer don't be 36 ringgit for annual, we charge 5 ringgit, which is 60 ringgit annually. So, but the customer
doesn't feel like it.
So, and this is what bank insurance that was introduced to us. And then, of course, the IT must be straight through. The customer get the certificate straight through on the spot. Here you are. Even the proposal form, all the information from the bank back end comes to they fill in the form for us. Okay, sign. So, it has to feel different. The customer experience must be different. That was, I found, fantastic. And so, Takaful was drawn into this strategy as well, So, but the product, because the bankers are going to sell it, they're already familiar with Mayban Life and Mayban. We had to have a Takaful version of the same product, about the same price, just plug and play. So that's it. The only difference is that the customer segments, that one bank was very careful. No cannibalization. So, for example, let's say to sell motor, if you take Islamic finance for the car, Etiqa, okay, Takaful. So it's automatic, automatic like that. So if you are a Islamic bank customer, it's Takaful. No two ways about it. So that there's no argument.
Yeah.
No argument. So
because the pricing is the same. So that as
mostly we try to make it the same, it feels the same, you do the same and all that. So For Mayban General, Mayban Takaful, it was okay. The challenge was to get all this done and all that, and then to win the bank sellers, Don't forget Takaful as well. Sometimes they so used, So that one we need to do a lot of relationship building with the branches and all that. So some branch manager, they are already good Muslims, so they try to push a lot of things to the Islamic bank, so we get the benefit and all that. So yeah. So the bank assurance that was introduced to us with the that the Takaful and the insurance, we play just a manufacturer role.
It was much easier compared to when it was at Takaful Malaysia. Here you already had a ready-made distribution.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So much so that my wife complained, hey, how come we never hear Mayban Takaful advertise? No, we have to be as quiet as possible. The customer only knows the bank. They are very familiar with the bank. That's it. So we are just manufacturer. That is, they give the analogy of a supermarket, You go to Tesco or you go to Giant, you just put your product on the shelf and they don't care. As far as they're concerned, they go to Tesco, So it was that sort of feeling. So, of course, there were still other challenges. We had to start with the low-hanging fruits, also the mortgages, the motor, the householders for the mortgage. So we started with that first for Mayban Takaful. So just to get the momentum. And then once it was set in the momentum, and then we went for cross-selling, okay? So the idea was that, okay, once they take out the householders to cover the buildings, which was mortgage, then the sales people will try to sell the contents, so we have to train them, if there's a fire. And people always say, the bank already took a fire insurance for us. Yeah, true, to cover the building, my friend. So I have to teach the sales people, it's for the building. When the fire happens, normally the content will be wiped out. The building, it's only 3,000 ringgit just to repaint the walls, But the furniture all gone, 20,000 ringgit. So, so we had to cross-sell that. So we tried to cross-sell the house owners with content, the motor with personal accident. So it had to go step by step. And of course, the product, because banks, the culture is not like the agent. You see, agents are very aggressive, but the banks, the culture is a bit different. So we cannot give difficult products. We have to give simple products. Otherwise, they just don't sell. We can come up with a product that we love. This is very good. If they don't want to sell, they don't sell. So we have to really listen to the bank, listen, and to be humble, listen, okay, this is what, and we would, bank was very meticulous. We had to go and do a customer survey. I remember once we were seated behind a double-sided glass, listening to the customer, what they like about the product, what they dislike, and really listen, and okay, then the bank said, you heard that? Okay, they didn't like this, they didn't like that, and mostly they don't like filling out the form, they don't like the medical checkup, they don't like, they don't mind talking. So they don't mind. Actually, we thought that insurance people just don't like us. Actually, no, they don't like the agents. Okay, not they don't like agents. You see, forgive me, agents, but you see, they are so pushy. They feel like, can I have an environment where I can listen and digest the information rather than you keep calling me and, pushing it. So they don't want that. They feel obligated. So they want a safe environment. And they find that banks, they have this. And the other thing that the banks have, that the agents don't have, is customer information. They know how much money you have, They know how many children you have, what car you drive, all this information they know. And you can tailor-make your products for such customers. The agents, they have to really cold call, They call, they say, hey, Cik Zana, you have any friend? And you also, you give your gardener's phone number, and they try to sell to your gardener because they don't know. So they have to make 100 calls. Whereas the bank, we have this CRM, customer relationship management tool, and they just go and then, okay, and the bank say, okay, we are going to target this type of customers, and can we have a product suitable for them? So it's a lot of collaboration done with the bank. So I found, wow, this is a revelation for me. I thought you just, so no. So the cross-selling, the plug and play, all that really helped Mayban Takaful.
Yeah. So I think on that score, was the foreign shareholders pleased in terms of the performance of Mayban Takaful? Were they sort of at that point of time?
Of course, they were pleased at first, but they never satisfied. Always want more and more and more.
more and more and more.
Want more and more and more. That's why I think later on you'll find that how come suddenly we were doing bancassurance, because suddenly the penetration, the bank was almost to the max. So that's why we had to have another.
Yes.
It was exclusive.
Because the next milestone of Mayban Takaful was its merger with Takaful Nasional.
Yes.
And of course, Takaful Nasional, like you mentioned just now, practiced a modified mudharabah operating model and was agency driven. You mentioned quite a bit about issues with agents. Well, maybe Takaful relied solely on banker Takaful and practiced the wakala models. There was a difference in terms of distribution. There was a difference in terms of operating model. So managing the integration of the two entities must have been challenging. Tell us more.
Well,
what did it happen, by the way?
You were talking about the merger, right?
Yeah.
I was okay. So, I joined 2001. Started Mayban. Okay, so life was hard at first, but after a while, it settled down. Okay, then suddenly, out of the blue, it was very secretive. There was a merger between Mayban Takaful and Takaful Nasional, Mayban Life, Mayban General, and MNI merger. So wow. So this was very challenging because we were quite happy. It was business as usual doing bancassurance. It was working well, and it was generating. But some of the shareholders wanted more. Okay, so suddenly there's this merger, and one company exclusively bancassurance, another company agency and corporate clients and all that. So two different mergers. So it was tough, of course, but of course, in any merger, there will be cultural difference and all that. But we have to be focused. We had to be focused that what would bring the best value to the shareholders. I mean, that will be whatever we do. And this merger was a bit difficult in the sense that it was a merger of equals. If it's like you are acquiring a small company, it's very easy. You can just bulldoze your way. This was a merger of equals. They were as big, except that two different channels of distribution. So how do we do this? And being MNI and Takaful Nasional, they were more market oriented, so they were more market driven. So they will spend more money on marketing and all that. We pay the bank, so bank will be more conservative. So the culture had to be managed, and so the first thing that we need to manage was not to lose the best brains, because when we have to quickly identify who are the people that we would like to keep, because everybody were getting agitated already. Oh, do I stay? Do I go? Do I stay? Do I go? So, but although the shareholders said that no, we cannot make any redundancies. We have to absorb everybody. But at the high level, they had opportunities elsewhere. So they were looking, should I stay? Should I go? So we had to quickly identify who are the ones that we want to keep, and we also not keep, but who are the ones we cannot afford to lose, So anyway, let me, right. So that was the one, what culture. So how do we get them to work together? So the first thing we did was, of course, to move into one building. And when I was somewhere else, Takaful Malaysia was somewhere else, Mayban Takaful Malaysia was somewhere else. So we had to decide, okay, everybody move into one place. So that was the first thing we did. Move to one place. Second thing we did. The first thing was try to keep the good guys, and then we had to do the HR. How to, match their perks. There will be jealousy. Hey, how come he is so junior, paid so much, I'm more senior? That's what. So all these we really had to manage the difficulty, the culture, the difficulty. So we put them into the same building. So that took some time. Move everybody to of course, a few will leave because so far away, office line and all that. So, but anyway, we moved them to. Once they were all together in Bangsa, one building, then how do we make them work together? And how do you make them work together? How do you make them become friends again? Instead of competitors. So we divided the company into, in school we had this green house, red house for sports. So we divided all the companies and matched them up. They were all red house, blue house, green house, and all that. And every Friday they will wear the yellow. So everybody, they feel together. And then we'll have golf, we'll have tennis, we'll have all the games. And they will, so they work together, and we invited them. The one that we had to work hard on was they must have common values. How to have that. So that's why it took some time, but by I think in 2005 we started to do the rebranding. Okay, so it was a merger of MNI Insurance and Maybank Life, Maybank General, that became Etiqa Insurance.
So maybe why Etiqa? Why the name Etiqa?
Okay.
Maybe that would be an interesting story.
Okay. So we wanted the company to have a common values, So what we did was, I'm not the only one. We were putting our head together and said, hey, let's find out what the public thinks of us. And so we did a survey. We found out, what do you think of insurance? What do you think? So we asked. And we found, to our dismay, they thought we were crooks. And not just
insurance industry.
Insurance industry.
Generally, were crooks.
So I felt, oh my God, all this while, you made people think I'm a crook. I thought I'm, So we said, oh, this cannot be. We have to do something about it. So, okay, again, we wanted to be company that's trusted. Okay, so we need a new name, We had consultants, what name do we go? And there was Prudential, So, then we thought ethical sounds nice.
Ethical. Okay.
Okay, Etiqa sounds a little bit more Eastern, The Arabs love it because Atiqa is also Etiqa. So After months of soul searching, we came with this.
Honest.
Huh?
We went at the beginning of the
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, honest company. So ethical.
Yeah. So the name, and then we had common values. So we had a policy called people over policies. So we had a creed written, the Etiqa way. So, it's written there. If you go to Etiqa now in Bangsa, where the customer counter is, on the wall is written, Etiqa way. Meaning that one senior manager, he was saying that it's like this lah. What's Etiqa way? They say, if your uncle calls you, say, hey, son, I had an accident. How do you answer? You don't say, sorry, uncle, I'm in HR lah. You call claim department lah. No, right? So the what we tell the customer is, if it's your uncle, even if you're in HR, you said, uncle, you had a claim, right? Okay, don't worry. I'll call the claim department. I get them to call you. So people had to be more customer centric. So so it was so much so that then I had a driver. Now, so we were drilling this to the customer, all the staff, and always had we call a town hall drill. One day, my driver in the car, he said, boss, today I saw while waiting for you at the counter, one guy came to claim with crutches, crutches. He was walking. Then the counter guy said, oh, claim lah, go up 15th floor. Boss, that's not the Etiqa way, boss. I say, Selvam, very true. Okay? So, you see, people really understood now. So, actually, Selvam, what will you do? I will call the 15th floor guy to come down to see this guy in crutches. So, you see, that was so Etiqa. So, if you look at the logo,
Of Etiqa.
Of Etiqa,
Yeah.
Okay? Etiqa, okay? It has an I in the middle, it has a T in capital letters, and Q. I thank you.
All right. I didn't know that.
No, it is not me who did it. It was Dr. Amir Sham. He was the CEO of Mayban. He says, we gave him a number of designs for the logo. He says, I want a human face. So that's why Etiqa actually, I is the nose, E, Q, I thank you, and then the E is the E and A, and then the smile at the bottom. So he says, I cannot draw, but I want something like that. So when they put it, exactly that's what I want. So we were trying to get the divided group into one common values. So this was what happened. So that was I think 2005, and in the end everything settled down by 2007. And remember I said to Kasim, I will be there 3 years only. So I end up 8 years. So in 2009 I said, I'm going back to teaching. I go, I was CEO of Mayban Takaful. Then merger, they put me as CEO of Takaful Nasional for a while until merge, and then I was CEO of Etiqa Takaful. That's where I retired lah.
Yeah.
And, so Alhamdulillah, I learned a lot from all this.
Yeah. Maybe we can elaborate a bit before we go to the next stage of your development career. How do you manage the channel conflict? Because, it is obvious that, you talk about management, two different management styles, perhaps, two different management views in terms of how things should be done.
Yeah.
But there's also basically the agents who are used to doing it a certain way, and then there are also the banks. And given the hard work that was done to ensure that there was no cannibalization of business between conventional and Takaful, now we got the issue about how do we actually manage the agency force and the bank branches? What was there anything done to ensure that the two sort of work together rather than sort of conflicts arising?
Yeah, humans conflict quite natural, so you just have to minimize it, just like the conflicts between the senior management when there was this merger. So is there, the politics is there and all that. We need to manage. So as I explained just now, that was between the staff. Now the conflict between the agents and the... So luckily, the bank insurance agents are a little bit more easy to manage because they are employees of the bank. Okay? Employees of the bank, and they are not totally dependent on commission. Okay, they do have, but they're not totally covered. So to them, it's just a job, So okay, but the way that we try to segmentize the customer, okay, so the bank customers, the agents off limits. That's a red line. There's a red line. You don't go there. So we keep them separate. Of course, it's hard. The agent will give also if you happen to be my cousin lah and all that. So, but we have to make sure that. But we do allow some cross dealings by the products. Okay, as I said earlier, bank insurance, the product has got to be simple. Then we have this KISS principle. Keep it simple.
It's straightforward.
So because use bank insurance, you sell it at the banking moment. You don't have time to explain long.
You have 5 minutes with the customer.
You have 5 minutes. You have to sell it already. So it has to be very simple. Okay. So what we do is that your products are simple. The difficult product advisory, when you have to explain what we give to the agent. So we have to keep it separately through the product design. So the agents, they have to do the advising. If you want to sell a simple product, you're not our agent already. Okay, you have to learn. You have to really improve yourself. So you go for the
high income group.
So what we call the mass affluent for the bank and lower. Okay, do the simple, straightforward product. We where we have this in the bank. Everyone can sell in the bank.
Oh, so Asia compete from you, is it? Everyone
No, we compete from Asia. So you have to have a simple product. Where the bank staff can sell, but agents, no. It has to be advisory, where you really have to explain. So they can go for the high income group. Yeah. So we segmentize them so that conflict is still there, but at least this minimize through segmentation and to product design and all that. So the processes also for agents is different.
So when you left Etiqa, basically all was already in place. Basically, your work was already done.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot claim it's all me, but we had a fantastic team. The foreign partners were
happy, relatively happy.
They had sent in about 10 expatriates, at the bank and all that. So we learned a lot, I mean, I was exposed to different things. I thought simple, but so okay. So alhamdulillah, I was keeping to my promise that I want to be there for 3 years. I done 8 years. Okay, enough is enough. I would like to go and teach So that's my what I enjoy most lah.
So you left Etiqa after 8 years, and you went 2009.
Yeah, end of 2009.
How old you were then?
About 55, almost just short of my birthday, because I was thinking, should I extend it for 3 months to my birthday? That was,
At that point in time, retirement age was 55, was it?
Huh?
Was retirement age 55?
No, actually, you can opt in Mayban group that time. 50, you can already opt for early retirement.
Right.
But 55, of course, you can do it. The 60 and all that hasn't come yet.
Hasn't come yet, yeah. So basically, you left and you went back into the academic field, did you? Or more like part-time or full-time?
Yeah, so what I did was Maybank had, Etiqa had an academy.
Okay.
Etiqa Academy. Etiqa Academy, Maybank also had an academy for the staff. So I, for the next 5 years or so, I was teaching both. So at Etiqa Academy is the agents. So I was traveling all around the branches which I never visited before, and Maybank also the same. So I teach the insurance part and the Takaful part of the product.
Amazing. I think you had a very, I think if I can use the word, a full sort of experience as far as insurance is concerned.
Reinsurance.
You go to richest. Don't mind. I mean, and the challenges, of course, as well for startups. Yet a couple of startups that you had to manage. Perhaps you can give some advice to our viewers, because one of the reasons why we have this podcast is to share the knowledge, from those who have actually experienced it in terms of the Takaful particular. What would be your advice? When you do a startup, because what should you do?
It depends on the market first. Okay, in Malaysia, it is commercially driven. Okay, because some countries, Takaful is social. So I'm coming from a commercially driven. Okay, so what is a commercially driven Takaful? Okay, first you have to be clear which customer segment you want to serve. You cannot please everybody, So you have to be thinking, who do I want to serve? If I can give the AirAsia analogy, AirAsia, they were very successful because they were very clear. Everyone can fly. So what I heard is that they did a survey and they found that only like a few % of people flew. The rest have never flown. So they were going for those who have never flown before, So they're very clear. So again, in Takaful, you have to be clear. Why are you here, Takaful? To serve, first of all, the Muslims. Hey, you try to be everything. I also want non-Muslim. Okay, but you have to have your priorities. Okay? So, first of all, you are here, serve the Muslim. Okay? And that's your primary reason for your... So be customer-centric. What is it that they... Okay, so this is my experience. I find that, people want Islamic, the Muslim in Malaysia, they want, but they also want everything that conventional give, which is almost impossible. All right? So they'll ask, how much profit you can give?
How much surplus you can give back? Is that question?
Even if they take the investment link, they'll ask, how much profit you can give? Okay? So I will train the agent. I say, look, you ask them, are you talking a profit in this world or next world? Just focus first, because actually they realize, just they forget when it comes to Takaful, And so we must always bring them to there's also the next world. When people do investment, they always talk about horizon, short term, long term, and for Islamic, long term means next world. So, are there any benefits in the next? So, the beauty about Takaful that I feel that we neglect. I call it the hidden beauty of insurance takaful. It's tabarruk. The fact that you donate. Here's my money. I hope I don't die, but use this money to help the orphans of the people who died. You know, hey, that's beautiful, isn't it?
No. I agree with you completely. I think that one of the things that we do find in terms of insurance is that when people buy insurance and they don't claim, they feel they've been cheated. Maybe that's the reason why they call insurance company crooks, because I pay a premium, but I don't claim and I lose my money. Because they don't understand the concept of protection. So the value proposition here is saying that don't treat this as a premium, treat this as a donation. Hopefully, this can be used to help someone who is in need. So on that basis, you go back to this concept from the Muslim perspective that we're here basically temporarily in this world, that we also need to invest in the hereafter. So this donation, if you like, inshallah, will give us some barakah. That is a beautiful story.
We forget this. We forget this and we talk about the product features, I always find the agents, they're always trying to understand the product features. I say, look, fine, go ahead and learn the product features, but approach it differently. Approach it like this is a solution to a problem. Okay? A solution to a problem. For example, if you sell shampoo, okay, you don't talk about, it has got zinc paration on all that. But if you say, do you have dandruff? Problem first. Okay? Are your hair falling down? Do you have pimples? Problem first. And here's the solution. So, Takaful is the same. You keep talking about the product features. Sometimes we have a non-feature features. It's mouthful. And they don't even understand how to explain it. So, go to the problem first. I know you're young man. I know you're only 25. But, people 23 used to die, who's going to take care of your children? Talk about this problem first. Not that they don't know this problem. They know, but they just don't want to, they put it aside. They want to be optimistic. They want to be optimistic. Similar to motor car insurance or other insurance, Takaful, they feel that I don't have that problem. Other people will have that problem. Other people will die soon. I won't die. They
defer. They defer the decision, basically.
Yeah. So we have to approach it. Somebody taught me like this. There's the hard sell, H-A-R-D, hard sell, and then hard sell, H-E-A-R-T. I thought, that's beautiful. Heart, sell from the heart. Sell from the heart. Because Takaful is beautiful. It can give insurance, but this is tabarruk. This is tabarruk you, because there are hadith that if you donate, Allah will protect you. Take for example medical Takaful. I want to, in case I get sick. No, here's my money, I tabarruk, so that Allah will give me good health. Yes. I don't want to claim. But somebody else claim, use my money. So if you approach it differently a little bit. So I feel this is one thing that we overlook from the beginning. Also, there's surplus. Not that it's no good, but after 40 years, tabarruk, what's that?
Tabarruk, what's that?
For my MBA thesis, I surveyed Takaful customers. I asked, have you heard the word tabarruk? 90% said they've never heard of the word. And they were already customers. And when I asked about mudharabah, everybody knew.
Everybody knew about mudharabah. They didn't know about tabarruk.
So it's a pity because this is strength. It's something that insurance cannot do.
No.
You know, the spiritual benefit in the hereafter, insurance cannot give. So, yeah, my advice is, okay, understand the weakness of insurance.
The weakness of insurance.
Weakness of insurance. Which, if you follow insurance, you'll follow as well. Just like you said just now, you know, insurance is based on the fortunate many help the unfortunate few, right? How do you please the fortunate? They will never claim. Kan? Okay? They will never claim. It's just the unfortunate few will say, thank you. Even then also, they might not be happy because they claim 8,000, you pay him 3,000. So, you know, it's a very challenging business. How do you please such customers? Okay, how do you please them? So you have to use the spiritual benefit.
I think this goes back to the issue of one of the questions I wanted to ask, but the time is running out, was that, you know, how do you actually train, as people who want to go to Takaful. I think you put it beautifully in terms of how you actually look at Takaful from a different perspective than insurance. Because I think one of the reasons why perhaps Takaful failed in some countries is because, you know, they were approaching Takaful like they were approaching insurance. They could not differentiate clearly to the customer in terms of what's the difference between Takaful and insurance. And I think there's a lot of work still that got to be done.
A lot of work had to be done.
Finally, you know, if you go a Takaful policyholder or participant, you know, what would be your expectations of the Takaful operator? I think this goes back to looking at it from a different perspective. What would you expect a Takaful operator to be different from an insurance company? So I guess from the service perspective and from the product perspective.
Yeah, I think some of this I already mentioned just now.
Yes.
Takaful to me is a superior product compared to insurance. You know, I call it 3-in-1. You know, insurance can give protection. Okay, Takaful also give protection. But we give Sharia compliance and we give benefits in the hereafter. So, I would tell the insurance company, this is the difference. So you have to highlight this. Okay? Offer what insurance cannot give and highlight it. This is something insurance cannot give. Sharia compliance, you know? Because, you see, the customer, otherwise, if you always like insurance, you want to be like insurance, you always go to the Sharia and say, I want to do this because insurance can do this. I want to do this, insurance can do this. You push them to the limit and you want to be like insurance. If you like, you'll never win. It's like, you know, in Malaysia, the 5-star hotels, they serve halal breakfast. You have beef bacon, halal. They call it beef bacon. It's not bacon, it's beef. It will never be as good as the real bacon. I don't think so. Turkey ham. So no, don't be like insurance. Be Takaful. Be Takaful. We are here to serve the Muslims first and foremost and introduce them to the aspects, in addition to protection, the benefits that they could get in the hereafter. You know, I cannot remember the exact verse. People ask me, so how much benefits do I get for Takaful? I said, in hereafter. You know, there's a verse in Surah Al-Baqarah. I can't remember, was it 261 or 216? I'm not sure. But it says that if you spend the way of Allah, it's like a seed that grows 7 branches, and each branch will have 100 seeds. So that means you donate 1 ringgit, you get 700 ringgit return. Okay? You know? So I tell the agents and the staff, if you invest 1, you get 700. You know how many percent that is? The 70,000% return. I say, Goldman Sachs cannot give you that. And here is the Almighty, you know, giving you this, and you just take it so lightly. Look, take for example, Mohd Tarmidzi. Simple. You have to have it anyway. Either the bank make you buy it or the road transport department make you. What is there to lose? Take Takaful as a Muslim. You get coverage just like insurance. And then you get the benefit here because you have already niat. The
intention
or good deed. Yeah. So I think we should do that. And then we go on to the spiritual aspect. For example, let's say mortgage, MRTA, MRT.
Mortgage resisting term cover.
Okay.
Protection.
It's same, right? I said, they used to make a joke, MRT, mati rumah tetap ada. You die, you still have the house. And they say, it benefits only the living, the dead only. I say, no. In Islam, if you die with debt, you cannot go to paradise. Hey, your family gets a house, you get to go to paradise because your debts are already paid up. So we need to have a new dimension to this. We need to have this new dimension. So I will tell my students, hey, go back and think about this. I'm sure there are a lot of things to be done, But on the worldly side, okay, I used to do training for the conventional agents. Why they should sell Takaful. It's difficult for the agents who are non-Muslim to understand this. But I tell them, hey, you might not understand, but your customers understand, So why? Then they say, why should I sell Takaful? I'm already selling insurance. Why should I have the headache to learn new things? Look at the penetration rate, okay, for life, for example. What penetration is quite low in Malaysia.
Yes.
Yeah, because they take the total population. But if you take the non-Muslims, it's like 90% already. It's the Muslim. I say, look, green field. You learn about Tabarung, you learn about Wakala, so that you can go to the green field. You already have the skills. Sell Takaful. You have the skills to sell, Yes, so if you go to a non-Muslim customer, he probably has got 2 policies already for life. You go to a Muslim, he might not even have 1. So it's easier to sell. So that's what. So that's for the worldly. So I was lucky enough. So I was get invited by these big names and all that to do training. Last time I was on board. Now I cannot do retraining because I'm on the board of an insurance company, a Takaful company. So, but I used to do that, and they go back. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much. I mean, even though I've been 40 years in the industry, I think I've learned quite a bit as well from you, Tarmidzi. So thank you very much for making time to come and do this podcast. And
my pleasure.
And now we have preserved your bits of treasures, if you like, in Takaful. Forever. Hopefully, as long as this podcast is around. Thank you again. Thank you very much, viewers, for actually accompanying us in this trip down memory lane to some extent. And inshallah, we'll see you in future podcasts. Thank you.